Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Gratitude Tuesdays. My name is Raina. I'm a recovery coach here at Capital Recovery Center. We've been working on a four-part series from Michigan State University on gratitude. We did part one yesterday, which kind of talked about, last week, which talked about what gratitude is and the different ways that you can express it and how it's beneficial. This week on part two, it's about writing a gratitude letter. Gratitude letters can be very powerful for not only the person you're giving it to, but for yourself. And any of you in recovery who are, looking to make amends or you're finally to that step in your 12-step program, a gratitude letter can be very beneficial and, helping you make that amends as well. So we are going to jump right into this part two, writing a gratitude letter from Michigan State University. It says, writing a letter of gratitude is a great way to show appreciation for someone that made a difference in your life. Have you ever heard others talk about gratitude, but you're not really sure what it is? You're not alone. In this series of Michigan State University Extension articles, we're going to explore what gratitude is, which we did last week, and ideas for including gratefulness in your life, how to write a gratitude letter, health benefits of gratitude, and the difference between gratitude and thankfulness. In this article, we're going to explore how to write a gratitude letter. But before we begin, let's take a quick moment to review what gratitude is. Gratitude is an emotion expressing an appreciation for what one has, as opposed to what one wants, according to Psychology Today. Furthermore, Harvard Medical School offers that gratitude is a thankful appreciation for what one receives, tangible or intangible, as they acknowledge the goodness in their lives. So gratitude, that first part talking about emotion, expressing an appreciation for what one has, opposed to what one wants. And that's very important when it comes to gratitude because, we want to, if we start thinking about what we want, when we don't get what we want, it tends to affect our mood and we're unhappy. But if we focus more on what we have, you'll have this sense of gratitude, obviously, and peace of mind. Like you're okay with where you are and you're okay with what you have instead of stressing about what you don't have. It's all about kind of flipping that perspective. So going to say now, let's look at writing a gratitude letter. If you've never done it before, it's okay. This information will help you get started right away. Sometimes it can be difficult to start practicing gratitude by looking at ourselves and the good things in our own lives, but we can easily identify the good in others. That is very true. I know for me personally and for others that I've spoken to about this, sometimes it's very hard to see the good in ourselves, especially, if you're in active addiction, you're just coming into recovery. It can be very hard to look at ourselves and be okay with who we are because of the things we've done in our past. But one thing that has helped me with that is that the concept that we are not our disease. So in other words, when you're using an active addiction, you are going to do things that you would not normally do if you weren't using. And doing those things can make us look at ourselves like we're inferior, we're worthless, we're not good enough, all these different things. And then when we come into recovery, while that, has been lifted slightly, we're still hung up on all these things that we've done and that we're not good people or, there's no one's going to want me and I'm not good enough and so on and so forth. But we can look at the person next to us and realize that this person is, really caring. This person's very helpful. This person's smart. This person's attractive. Whatever the case may be, we can see all these things in others, but not in ourselves. And it's very important for us to try and figure out and find those things within ourselves as well. So this is a great place to start. Writing a letter of gratitude to someone that made a difference in your life will bring out the strongest positive emotions within you and the person to which you're writing. So that's, like I said in the beginning, it's that benefit not only to the person that you're writing to, but to yourself. Article goes on to say, begin by thinking about someone that has done or said something, tangible or intangible, that made a difference in your life. It can be a relative, colleague, significant other, volunteer, service worker, or friend. UC Berkeley's Great Good Science Center, in collaboration with Hope Lab, launched Greater Good in Action, which collects research based for a happier, more meaningful life. They suggest that you take the following steps to write a gratitude letter. So step 1, write as though you're addressing this person directly, i.e., dear so-and-so. Number 2, don't worry about perfect grammar or spelling. Don't get hung up on the little things. You're not getting graded on it. It's not like a school assignment. So if you spell something wrong, or if you don't know where to put a comma, let it go. It's not what's important when we're doing this type of thing. And I have to remind myself of that because I'm a writer and I want to go back and like rewrite and, adjust this and adjust that. But then you start taking away like that raw emotion that's going into the letter. So like don't try and focus on any of that type of thing. So step 3 says, describe in specific terms what this person did, why you are grateful to this person, and how this person's behavior affected your life. Try to be as concrete as possible. It's very important when you're writing one of these letters that you are pointing out specifics, because I can tell so many people that I am grateful for them and the things that they have helped me with and the way that they have lifted me up and all these other things. But when you're doing this, you want to let them know exactly how they did that. So I can say to someone, I am so grateful that you were there for me when this happened. And I was able to rely on you, as a shoulder to cry on, or, someone I could vent to. Let them know why you're grateful. Number 4, describe what you are doing in your life now and how you often remember his or her efforts. That's really nice, because there are things like being in recovery that I have heard people say, whether it was in a meeting or someone has come up to me directly and said, that have really stuck with me. I have a friend in recovery who tells me that, on my good days that, he can see my aura. Like I just have this glow about me. And that sticks with me. Because for me, like I said, like we were talking earlier, I don't always see that in me. And when someone else does, it sticks with you and it gives you appreciation and it helps, empower you to be like, okay, so maybe there is something good in here. So when you're doing this, it's important to let them know, look, you said this to me and it could have been 2 years ago. And it really stuck with me. And I want you to know that I appreciate that. And then number 5 says, try to keep your letter to roughly 1 page. Again, it's not a school assignment. You can get into as much detail as you like, but it's better to be succinct and stick to the point. And it doesn't have to be anything lavish. And just focus on exactly what you're trying to say to the person. For me, I did this when it came to making amends with a family member of mine. I found it easier to write it in letter form. So that way, when I sat down with her to, make my amends, I had something that I could go with. And it made me feel more comfortable being able to read the letter to her and keep focus on why I was grateful for her and why I felt I owed her an amends. So 1, I didn't get off track. 2, it can be a very emotional thing and you might get caught up in those emotions and then things just don't go where they're supposed to. So it kind of gave me the ability to stay in the moment and stay focused on why I was, sitting with her to make these amends. And like it can be very emotional. So like at one point I'm tearing up, she's tearing up, and you have to kind of take a breath. And if I had done that without writing the letter, I know myself, I would have lost track of what I was trying to say. I might have gone into something that I didn't want to say, because not only when we're doing this and we're writing these gratitude letters and showing our appreciation, we want to make sure that we're not getting off track and, bringing up something negative. So it helped me make sure that I stayed on track and I didn't say anything that would cause any more harm. And then it was something that I could physically give to her afterwards, that she could keep to let, as a reminder, like, hey, this is, just hopefully she kept it as a reminder that I am, remorseful for what happened. And I am grateful for all the things that she had done for me while I was in my active addiction. So moving on. Next, you should try to deliver your letter in person if at all possible. I recommend this 100%. Like I was just saying, when I wrote my letter and to make an amends to a family member, delivering it in person, even if you just hand it to them in person and allow them to read it, so you're right there, and you know what I mean, you can physically be that support. You can physically be involved when things come up. Because it's always nice. Like I did something kind of similar with someone else, and it's like, just sat there, let them read it, and then you get like a big hug at the end, and it's just very powerful experience. So it says, to do this, consider the following steps. 1, plan a visit with the recipient. Let that person know you'd like to see him or her and have something special to share, but don't reveal the exact purpose of the meeting. So that's a great way to do it. Hey, you want to grab something to eat, or you know what I mean? I used Easter as a guise to be able to sit down and make my amends to my family member. So after Easter dinner, everybody was busy cleaning up, and I was like, hey, you got a minute to talk? And went into the bedroom, and I was like, I would really like the opportunity, to make an amends and read this to you. So, because sometimes you tell someone beforehand and they might find a reason to back out, and you missed, opportunity to do something good for someone. So number 2 says, when you meet, let the person know that you are grateful to them and would like to read a letter expressing your gratitude. Ask that he or she refrain from interrupting until you're done. I did exactly that. I said to her, I would like to read this to you, and just let me try and get through it without getting emotional, but just let me get to the end, because it's hard. It's sometimes it's not an easy thing to do. In my case, where my gratitude letter was focused not only on the gratitude I had for her for helping, my daughter, through things when I was in active addiction. She gave me a place to live. You know what I mean? She did all these wonderful things for me, but I also harmed her in many ways. So I had 2 aspects of it where, I have to get through it, or I might not get through it. So number 3 says, take your time reading the letter. While you read, pay attention to his or her reactions as well as your own. Like I said, I started to read the letter. I got to one point, I started to tear up. She started to tear up. And while it's a bittersweet situation in my case, it ended up in a wonderful, very positive ending with both of us in tears and hugging. And it's very powerful. I can't say that enough. So number 4, after you read the letter, be receptive to his or her reaction and discuss your feelings together. So this writing a letter gives you not only the opportunity to express your gratitude for someone, but it also gives you the opportunity to open up this dialogue and, express more, like, how to explain this? So it opens up this whole option to further a relationship, to, strengthen a relationship. So being able to, be receptive of how they are feeling, whether it be good or bad, because sometimes we try to express our gratitude for someone and they could be in the same position as us. Like, they don't see those good things in themselves. So their reaction might not be a completely positive one. They might be, flattered and grateful and touched that you went out of your way to write this letter and to express your gratitude for them. But they might have a hard time receiving it if they're kind of in the same situation you're in, where you have a hard time seeing the good in you. So it's important to kind of be very receptive to what someone's reactions are, how they're feeling, and respond accordingly to continue to make it a positive experience. Number 5, remember to give the letter to the person when you leave. Very important. You don't need the letter after you wrote it. The whole point is it's for someone else. And it's something that they can keep and cherish and be reminded of, because I know for me personally, so like my daughter will include little notes sometimes when she mails me something. And I keep those little notes because, she lives out of state, and, it's just like this little nice reminder that she's thinking of me. And number 6, if physical distance keeps you from a personal visit, try to arrange a video chat. Virtual world is so beneficial in these times. So if you can't speak to someone directly, you can still have that face-to-face, interaction. So it says, you may be wondering what the difference is between being grateful, writing a gratefulness letter, and being thankful, writing a thank you note. Although similar, being grateful implies that you have been affected by another person or thing, just as it is in your life. Remember that being grateful is about appreciating what one has, as opposed to what one wants. Being thankful or thanking someone often implies that you are acknowledging your thanks for something that someone has given you. So yeah, there's a big difference. You go to a wedding and you give somebody something, and they have like the standard little thank you for attending, thank you for your gift cards that get sent out. And that's very nice. That's great. It shows that they are appreciative of, what you gave them and for sharing in their moment. But they're usually very short, very specific, and about something that you had given or have participated in. While a gratitude letter is more about the person and the things that they have done for you, or the ways that they have positively impacted your life. So, like, in my mind, like, thank you note is, that little, like, blurb of gratefulness, while a gratitude letter is like the fireworks version. So this is, remember that the key to gratefulness is simple. It's practice. The more you integrate gratefulness into your life, the easier and more routine it will become. It won't take long for you to notice a change in yourself and others. So that completes part 2 of the gratitude from Michigan State University. I'm really liking, this series, because it allows you to kind of like hone in on different aspects of gratitude. And, if writing a gratitude letter is something that you would like to do, you're not sure how to start, you are more than welcome to come into the center. We have working journals that you could go through. You can sit down with one of the coaches and we can help you, find that outlet for you to find some gratitude and help in helping to rebuild some of the relationships in recovery that maybe, were strained in our active use. We are here for whatever you need, and you are welcome to come in anytime. We very much encourage it. And thank you for joining me today.